Welcome to another episode of Arkansas Basketball Recap, that show that recaps every Arkansas Razorback basketball game. Today we're recapping Arkansas's 69 to 61 loss to the Texas A&M Aggies at Texas A&M. And now there's probably a lot of negative things to say. This game was a little bit painful to watch. If we're going to say some of those things, but I want to put the disclaimer out there out front. One, right now, Texas A&M is a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. So know that. You are on the road. Know that. You're not supposed to win this game, and most people that have Arkansas in the tournament or right knock on the door of the tournament didn't expect them to win this game. This was not like one of the games that they were like, yeah, you get that one, and then you get this one, then you can get in. This wasn't one of the ones they were including. And this is how Texas A&M wins, and I think probably after most teams lose to Texas A&M that think that they're a decent team, have all kinds of questions about their team. So like just Texas A&M just makes you look bad. That does not mean that we didn't do some things that we're going to get into to contribute to that. But also, I think it's wrong not to give the opponent credit for beating you the way that they beat teams and just saying like, I wasn't them, it's all us. Well, Texas A&M has done this to a 20-5 record. They don't score points really. Everything's messy, and you got to at least tip your hat to them and say like, yeah, you're good at making that sort of basketball game happen because you've done it over and over and over and over again. And I think Buzz Williams is a hell of a coach. That's what I think. I think he is a as good as anyone at bending you to his will. Like as far as you're like, who's gonna win the matchup of play style? Are they gonna make us do what they want, or are we gonna make them do what we want? I think he wins that battle against almost everybody. And so that's the first thing. Now, what did Arkansas do to contribute to that? We'll get into it, but I think you got to at least give Texas A&M credit because it's it'd be easy just to say they suck. They kind of look like they suck, and we look like we suck because we didn't beat them. You're like, well, they don't suck, uh, and or at least they win a lot of games, and that's how you kind of ultimately decide whether you suck or not. And they're 20-5, so they don't suck. Uh, the opening thought, I'll just say this, is that if you want to know how you win this game, it's real simple. Don't turn the ball over 17 times, which by the way, Arkansas doesn't do. Like they have that was not typical of them, but they turned the ball over 17 times. Texas A&M scores 22 points on those 17 turnovers. That's the game because everything else statistically is fine. In fact, you did great on the glass, and I'll give Arkansas credit for that. Texas A&M, the best rebounding team in the country, and Arkansas didn't let them beat them that way. And so credit to that. But you turned the ball over 17 times, resulting in 22 points. Ball game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with most of what you said there. I mean, we're recording this a little bit later at night, and I've had a little bit of time to think about it. But I feel like all that may be true, but two things. One, we lost that game worse than it looks like we lost that game. Like, that game was actually a 20-point beatdown. Like, the only reason it wasn't, and what I mean by that is it was in as far as if you look at our main contributors, Nelly, Adu, Thero, Wagner, and Big Z, they were pathetic offensively. And if it wasn't for the fact that Knox plays way better than he typically does as far as scoring points and hits some. I mean, I don't want to say they're tough shots, but they're atypical and not the shots that you would like. They're not the high percentage shots that you're hoping to get. But like he shot an amazing percentage, made some big shots, and then Big Z chucked in two 3-pointers in the last couple of minutes. But if your starting four offensive players are going to play that pathetically on offense, like you actually should have lost that game by 20. And you did. If Knox scores his average and Big Z doesn't throw in leaning, falling out of bounds 3-pointers and two of them for 6 points in the final minute, like you probably do lose that game by 20, maybe more. Um, it was like they beat us pretty solidly, honestly. Like the fact that that game was I mean, I was watching that with like 10 minutes to go, and I'm like, I do not even understand how this game is a 5-point game. That's
Well,
crazy.
that's what Texas A&M does too. The Texas A&M doesn't blow out anybody. If you look at I mean, all their wins are like, under 10 points. I mean, I'm not saying they've never beat anyone, but I mean, they played some non-conference games. But you look at them in conference, like this is how it goes with
Well, I'm
them.
telling you, tonight they beat us by 20 points. They did beat a
Yeah.
team by more than 10. Like the only reason it's not is because of a couple of weird anomalies of throwing some stuff up there. And now, that being said, I disagree with the fact that this is all on like A&M. I'm giving them credit for the turnovers, all of the poked out balls from the behind where they snuck in there and caught you sleeping. But I mean, the fact that this game was a 3 to 5 point game up until the last 4 minutes, and none of your offensive players are doing anything. And it's not just that that's great defense. They played like so frustratingly bad and not in stuff that has nothing to do with the defense, except for like if you want to give credit for the defense causing them to have such mental distress that they forget what the right decision is when it's right in front of their face, like throw the ball to a guy that's not looking when there's a guy closer to you who the guy that you're throwing the ball to just pointed to and went, no, go that way, and then looks away, and then you give him a chest pass. Like
Yeah.
that's a mistake. That's just like, I mean, Wagner played so bad on offense, it was crazy. And there was multiple times where guys, Nelly did it, Wagner did it, where they got up. I mean, I'm watching, I'm like, ooh, that's going to be a layup. They got a step. Somebody like leaned one direction because they thought they were going to pass it. Straight line drive. You can watch it. Like they've got the ball in the right hand. There's a layup right there. And they stop short and then throw a weird pass.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that one time Wagner had an absolute layup, tried to throw an alley oop to, I think it was Big Z at that time, but it might have been a do. I'm not sure. But uh, like I don't understand why. Like the layup is there, and I mean they missed all kinds of open shots that they should have made that had nothing to do with Texas A&M's defense. They're there for the taking. Like you got to be able to hit a shot at some point. And but to me the most frustrating thing was there was multiple times where they looked like they had an okay drive to the basket, and they deferred and did something bizarre that ended up in a turnover. And um I give credit to Buzz Williams I mean, he completely neutralized Big Z. It's very clear that they saw what we've been saying, which is this guy has no lateral quickness off the dribble drive. He can't stop anybody who can dribble. And they were like, we're not going to let him sit down there and then go attack but we're going to bring him out and then drive on him. And other teams are going to watch that. So Big Z better and Cal better start figuring out some ways to get around that because I guarantee you that's going to be the plan going forward is bring your guy to the top of don't post your big guy up down low where Big Z can just wait for him to shoot it and try to get it at the high point. They're going to bring him up to the free throw line and have your big guy dribble around him. But to me the most disappointing thing was how unbelievably bad on offense. I mean, because the defense is fine.
Yeah.
Defense was plenty good.
Yeah,
You were in the game the whole game.
that's what was that it was a bummer for Wagner because Wagner was terrible on the offensive end, but played really good on like he was guarding. What I mean, by the way, how long is Taylor going to play basketball there? Like, good grief, I'm tired of seeing you in that uniform, guy. But he did a great job on Wade Taylor. Like, that's a hard cover. He did a really good job. Played good defense, and everyone played good. And we had we were biting on some head fakes, which was frustrating. Um, that kind of stuff. But they scored 69 points. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you got to hold everyone to 50. Like, I mean, we have to have realistic expectations here. Wasn't like they let Texas A&M shoot the cover off the ball or anything. Didn't happen. Uh, they played, and it was weird too because they played hard because there's no way to compete in the rebounding battle with a team that's the best rebounding team in the country and not be playing hard. Like you have to be playing hard to do that, like to compete like that. And they did. Like we did not get killed on the glass at all. Um, and it just like like offensively, we just couldn't make shots, and we weren't taking stuff that was available to us, with the exception, of course. I mean, some of these numbers are kind of crazy. I mean, all right. Big Z goes 3 of 5. Now they were like really not wanting him to shoot the ball. Like they were covering him on the outside too. But so he shoots a good percentage though. He's 3 of 5. You're like, that's great. He has 13 points, went 5 of 6 from the free throw line, had 4 blocks, 6 rebounds. Like, yeah, I just need more shots for you. Like, obviously 5 shots is not enough shots. Like three of 5 is an absolutely fine percentage. Obviously, that's great.
Wait, is that from the 3-point line or total?
Total.
But
I mean,
didn't he hit three threes?
two threes.
Just two? Okay.
Two. Yeah. He was 2 of 3. By the way, he's hot as crap. Like I wouldn't, dude, if I was playing us right now too, I wouldn't let him be even. I mean, it's hard because he's 7'2", but you don't want him shooting. Like that guy is on a heater
Well,
from the 3-point
and
line.
I thought
That's
that I mean, I don't know if you want to blame Cal, and I'm not a coach, so I don't know exactly how, but it was frustrating that he didn't it looked like they thought they were going to try to post him up more, and I know that they were covering the three-pointer, but we should have run more screen and pops for him and tried to get him some open shots. Dude,
yeah. I mean,
somebody has
five
to
shots.
in
Five
this
shots
day
not
and
enough.
age, you have to be able to hit a couple of threes to soften up I mean, when every time any of those guys were driving, and I think it was why they were missing layups and stuff, is they were seeing ghosts because it was so physical and it was so every time anyone got the ball, there were three defenders harassing them, and I think that's why when I mean, like I said, you can credit the defense. It's just hard to know exactly how much. But like when Wagner sees an open lane, I felt like he was like, there must be someone about to steal the ball from me from behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's like pulling up his dribble too soon and like, oh, I'll oop it. But it's like you have the best shot right now. And it felt like they were so scared, they were so harassed that maybe they were just like, feeling those phantom defenders where when they were open, they were like, I must not be open. There must be a guy about to swat me from behind or steal the ball or poke it out. You know what I mean? Or tie me up. So,
I mean,
um,
part of this not having enough shots. I mean, if you look at so we shot 48 shots in this game. It's not enough shots.
mhm.
It's not enough shots. Texas A&M shoots 57 shots in this game, so they took 9 more shots than we did because of the turnovers. Obviously, like so that's one less shot for you, one more shot for them, kind of thing. Um, and you know, 48 shots isn't enough because I mean, and then when you break it down and you say like, okay, do we have to have Big Z take more than 5 shots a game? Yeah, we do. Like for sure, he has to shoot more than 5 shots a game. Uh,
Well,
you're
especially because you could tell. I mean, dude, he was getting abused on offense. I mean, on defense. Like,
yeah,
and he's not always doing that. But this wasn't one of those games where he didn't have a ton of blocks. I mean, I think he had a couple, but
he had
he
four. He
did
had
he really
four.
have four in this?
Yeah, he had
Dang.
4.
But he was getting. I mean, they were getting whatever they wanted on him, and if he's going to be in there, it's it's an insane thing to do is to keep him in there and then not let him get looks.
Yeah.
You've got to figure out a way to get him looks. And also, I mean, it depends on what you want, but Wagner, if I was Wagner right now, dude, you want to be a great ball player, you're going to have to shoot better. You're going to have to shoot more. You're going to have to figure out a shot. You better, if you want, I mean, if you don't, then if you don't want to play at the next level or you just want to have a mediocre college career and not, play in the G League and then just fizzle out and go sell cars somewhere, don't do it. But if you've got the talent, you need to go do what Kobe Bryant would do after that is he would be in the gym. He's still in the gym right now shooting off the dribble three pointers because he's such a good driver. if you look at the way guys are defending him, they're playing off of him and making it so difficult for him to when he goes into his dribble through the legs and trying to be, trying to work up his I'm going to get to my strong hand and drive. They're just, I mean, they're not playing completely off of him, but they're playing off of him enough that any shooter at all who could shoot off the dribble is one dribble, jab step, jump back from a wide open three.
Yeah.
There's enough. They're giving him enough space. Anybody who could do a jab step and pull up jump shot could get it all day, and he doesn't. I mean, he not only doesn't do it, he doesn't take any. Like he's nobody's going to respect your dribble when they know you want to drive and get a layup. So they're just standing with their toes on the 3-point line and letting you dribble around 3 feet outside the 3-point line, and it's making it so much harder on him. He's got to be able to shoot if he wants to be an effective ball player.
Yeah.
And I mean, with Nelly, I mean, I felt bad for Nelly because it's like he was shooting it, but it's just not going down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know what you do about that. Like, I mean,
he had 3 games in a row where it did go down and decently and like that. You're gonna have games like that, and I think that's fine. Like you have games where it doesn't go down. And he had one dude that like did go down and just didn't came back out.
mm,
Like where you one of those where you made the shot but you didn't get any points for it because you're like, oh, but you like made that though because that went like in and then it came back out. But but yeah, so I mean, yeah, Nelly just didn't shoot the ball well. He got up a decent amount of shots, which was good. But let me go through these other numbers. So DJ Wagner, 2 of 6. He has 4 points. Obviously, that's not enough. But 6 shots is enough, bro. Like I gotta have you shooting the ball more than 6 times. You can't shoot the ball 6 times. That's not enough. I need you taking 10 shots minimum. Like you have to take 10 shots a game. It's the way it is. Adu Thiero, uh, he goes 2 of 6, has 10 points because he got to the foul line a bunch. Obviously, like when you get fouled, it doesn't count as an attempt. And I know that he gets fouled a lot, but I still think that's probably not enough attempts, dude.
well,
Two of
also
six.
10. It doesn't matter. I don't care how many attempts you have. 10 points isn't enough from the
Yeah,
guy who is your, probably your best offensive player
yeah, yeah.
overall.
Uh, and yeah, so you have all that. Two. I'll give you two
What did
positives.
Nelly end up with?
Davis has 7 points. He was 3 of 13, 1 of 7 from three. It just didn't go down,
Yeah,
man.
I'm saying like that's enough shots for him.
Yeah,
It just couldn't get. I mean, dude, he missed some like layups.
yeah,
He just was having a tough time out there.
yeah. Uh, all right, let me give you some positives. Billy Richmond played fine. He turned it over too many times, but he actually does see the floor pretty well. He had actually some good passes, and then even some of the turnovers were like, you know, attempts on things that could have been good that just didn't quite finish it. But he played good defense. He also had 6 rebounds, which is good. Uh,
He does. I do like him rebounding from the guard spot.
yeah. So I didn't think this was his best game. I didn't think it was as good as like when he was against Alabama, but I thought he was fine. I think the two guys that, and by the way, and also Big Z, uh, the those threes at the end, that is ridiculous, bro. Like I don't even know, like that does look crazy when you're doing that, but
Like I
but
said,
they're
it's just
not.
all the only thing is at the end, you're just like, okay, Cal, you've got to figure if he's going to be in the game, you've got to figure out a way to get him some shots then.
Yeah, because like I said, he's on a distance heater right now, dude. That guy's not missing from deep. Like,
Well, and even something like they were leaving the corners open.
yeah,
Like you can tell, I mean, even the announcer said it, like their defensive philosophy is to play like only not leave the corner open for shooting, but they play off it just enough that like your only option, like you want to go baseline and they
yeah,
know that they've got a baseline defender in the
yeah.
baseline and they feel like they can make you I mean everybody knows like you drive on the baseline, it's weird angles,
Hmm.
there's hands everywhere to pass to anybody. So like it's a good defensive philosophy. What I was hoping we would do, and Knox did it a little bit, but like dude, Brazil and Big Z and those guys need to shoot the ball from the corner. Like
Yeah.
that's the highest percentage 3-pointer typically because it's the shortest. And Big Z can hit that. Like figure out a way to get Big Z in the corner and have Thiero drive and kick it to him over there. Like do something.
Yeah, well, Brazil still looks like he doesn't know what he's doing, but
Man, yeah,
uh,
he didn't he looked that up. I mean, that's not his style of play either.
no. All right, two bright spots. One, there's a real obvious one. I'll do that one second. Uh, so Big Z plays 20 minutes in this game. He got in foul trouble, and they were getting beat up inside. That did stop when he put Jonas Adu in. Like that was the end of like getting abused inside. And I did think for a guy that's hurt and not 100% obviously, I thought and Jonas had to play 20 minutes tonight and I thought he was good. Like he was not you're not going to get a ton from him on offense. He only had 4 points, but he was made the one shot he took, made some free throws, blocked some shots, was just a deterrent down there too. Like just didn't, I thought that was better. And I'm like, hey, I'm okay with that. Because I know that you're not gonna be, the thing that
Well,
you
if
were, but
I would have
I
played,
thought
I
he,
would have just once I saw like how they were playing, how they were attacking Big Z, I would have just played Adu if anybody else had been scoring.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like if you were having any effectiveness from any of those guys, if anybody was scoring, I'd be like, well, let's just leave him in there because that's obviously better defense, and this is just not this style that Buzz Williams runs is just not Big Z's game. Like, I
yeah.
mean, as far as like they're just going to beat him up, but you had to put him back in because like we got to have somebody who can shoot. Like these guys can't score.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good because I know he's been a rough year for him. So I thought he played pretty. I thought he did a good job when doing what he was being asked, obviously, to do, which was, hey, can we stop getting shoved around down there? And pretty much thought when he was in there that didn't happen.
Hmm.
So that's good. Um, and then the other one, I mean, Carter Knox played great, and it wasn't just because he made shots. He did a lot of other good things too. He also had, he had 5 rebounds. He was diving on the floor. He was playing hard on defense. But yeah, he goes 7 of 9, 3 of 4 from three, ends up with 17 points. And yeah, he looked like, I mean, if you'd never watched Arkansas Razorback game, you thought he's the best player on this team. But
Yeah, well, and the shots that he hit came on scoring droughts where it was like, oh, we're down by five now, and we haven't scored in 2.5 minutes. It's been six possessions with nothing, and then it would be like we need a bucket, and he would hit like a hard jump shot or a three to bring us back within
yeah,
a bucket or so. Like they were timely scores. Just I mean, and you were thinking the whole time like I was thinking I was going, man, if we win this game somehow, if somebody Nelly or Big Z or Wagner or somebody gets hot and pops a couple of shots and we get in this game and win it, it'll be because Knox stemmed the tide, but just never happened. No
yeah,
one could get traction.
yeah, yeah. No, he was it. It was just honestly, he was 7 of 9. He played 35 minutes. In a situation like this, you probably need to take more shots, dude. You probably need to be
Yeah.
heat check. You probably need to go into heat check mode if the shooting is that bad, you know. But I thought he was really good. And dude, I'll tell you this about Carter Knox: if you're on a if you're on a fast break, if you're on like a one-on-one break with Carter Knox, he's scoring.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, we in a weird way, it's awkward. I mean, I have to go back and watch it. I'm not sure if he actually did take an extra step or if he got that if he got that shot off before.
but
I,
he's good on the step through the stuff though, dude.
which
He's so but he's bigger than you think he is. He's 6'6", and like all of a sudden he's just at the rim. Uh,
which in a weird way, he's better at that than like you would think it'd be Thero, but Thero, if he has a guy in front of him, he
mhm.
ends up missing on he gets fouled, but he ends up missing the shot a lot. Whereas, I mean, he's great if he's out in front or if he's side by side, and then it's over. He's getting a dunk. But yeah, I mean, and Nelly isn't great on the fast break, all out in front, like sidestepping guys. But yeah, I mean, he seems to be able to get that Euro step. He picks up
Not
the ball maybe a little earlier than you would think
yeah.
he needs to. You know what I mean?
Those are big steps that he's
Hmm.
taken. Yeah, no, him and Richmond's pretty good on the break too.
Hmm.
That for a different reason. Well, I mean, Richmond's crazy athletic. He can jump like crazy, but he's also just like a blur.
Hmm.
And somehow he does the thing that like when you're watching like high school basketball, we watch a lot of we both have daughters that play, so we watch a lot of like junior high and high school girls basketball. And you'll see someone and you're like they got a ton of speed, they're super fast, or even just someone that doesn't, and they're just going fast on the fast break, and then you're like you could tell you're like I don't think you're going to be able to pull that back at the last second and lay like and finish that. Yeah, for some reason Billy Richmond can totally do that. Like I'm going a
Mhm.
million miles an hour and somehow still soft touch, and and that's a hard skill.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like I mean, I'm not complete. Like I don't, like I said, you shouldn't have probably won this game anyway. But I think the thing that was disappointing for Hogs fans about this is
You felt like if you
it's
could get
not,
anyone else step up, you could
it's
have
not that
stole one.
well, and also it wasn't a complete reversion back to where we were before, but it was more like that in that the defense was really solid with mind-numbing, punctuated by moments of mind-numbing mistakes like jumping on head fakes except for a guy that shoots 25% from the three-point line
Dude,
and letting him go around you.
that guy was everything he. If I was a Texas A&M fan, like that's like I'm like loving that guy. He was doing all the. It wasn't just those things. He was doing all the things that make you win basketball games.
Yes, but there was those things. There was, I mean, there was some absent-minded inbound, like, hey, they call the timeout. At the timeout, they put in their best three-point shooter. Now they're running an inbounds play. Maybe it's to that three-point shooter they just put in.
Yeah,
Maybe watch that guy. You know what I mean? There was enough mistake. It was like I said, like in the beginning of the year, where good defense punctuated by moments that make you go, "What is going on?" You weren't looking. You're not boxing out. You're not. You're going for silly head
yeah,
fakes. But then the offense was just so lethargic, and like you said, part of it was Texas A&M, but part of it was just like, guys, somebody's got to finish one of these. When you do get an open look,
yeah,
you can't go in giant 2-minute chunks without scoring. You can't have 5 possessions without scoring, four
yeah.
possessions without scoring. It's like nobody's defense is good enough to overcome that. I even said that at the very beginning. My wife looked up and goes, "Oh, it was like 5 minutes gone in the game." I mean, they didn't score for the Texas A&M didn't score for 5 minutes. It was 15 minutes in the game, and we've got 8, and they've got 0. And my wife goes, "Oh, well, that's good." And I went, "It's not good. We should be up by 20 when they're playing this bad on offense."
Yeah,
Because and when we even had, and I was being serious, because those guys came out flat-footed and their defense was not very good in the first. That's why we scored 8 points in the first 5 minutes,
yeah,
even though that's not that. The thing that's crazy is their defense was so bad. We had opportunities, and you can go back and watch the first 5 minutes. We had opportunities to score 20 points in that
yeah,
first 5 minutes. But our offense was so lethargic, and we were just missing, layups and missing wide open looks, that all we could muster when they came out completely flat-footed. They didn't have any energy. I mean, weren't you kind of surprised in the first 5 minutes? You're like, this doesn't look that tough. And then
yeah,
they called a timeout. Buzz Williams got up their butts. They came out, and all of a sudden it was like turnovers everywhere. They took their defense up to another level. And I mean, they erased that 8 point lead in a minute. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I was like, I kind of had that feeling. I was like, I mean, maybe 20 is too much, but like literally, I was like, we should be up by 15.
yeah,
This
yeah,
should be so.
yeah. It's and for me, it was just like something I expected to win. Like again, it wasn't like one of the games I had marked as like, here's how you get to the 7 or 8 wins that you need. This one was never on the W column when we were talking about that stuff. But and like I said, I don't want to fall into this trap. I know, like, I bet you I could go listen to friggin' podcasts like this of other teams that Texas A&M and beat, and probably like it's gonna sound like, oh, and you're like, oh, we saw like we could do, and you're like, I realize that that's what they do, and so like, but it still remains true. I'm sure that all those teams felt the same way. There's like, yeah, but you feel like you could have won this game if you'd have just if it just played a little better, like, and I know Texas A&M makes it you look. Like they make you play bad. I understand. Like that's their thing. They're like, hey, you want to get down in this mud and like wrestle around for a little bit? Like, I know that that's their whole thing, but it's still when you're watching it and when you walk away from it, you're like, yeah, but can I like that means the game's gonna be close and it's gonna be and like, could I win a mud fight? The problem is that it's like it's like Batman and Bane, dude. You get down in the mud and Texas A&M says, yeah, the problem with you just got here. Like I was born in this. Like
Mm.
I've been like this is where I live. And they
And even though those guys play hard, like you said, I mean, against a really harassing defense like that, you need a really, really low to the ground, good ball handling, smart point guard. And I'm not saying Wagner's not those things, but Wagner's not like he's not a that thing we always talk about where it's like he's not John Stockton.
yeah.
When like to make teams pay for and I'm not there's not very many guys that can do it.
I was about to
To
say
make guys
I don't even know if Texas A&M has that guy that they could do that.
he that guy might be good. I don't know. Like yeah, I'm not sure. But
He's not pass first enough.
yeah, maybe not. But you basically you do need a guy that's like a absolute passing genius because and it's not that he needs to be able to make it's that he has to be able to always know exactly okay, I see where the defense is coming, where the double's coming from. I know exactly instinctively what to do to make them pay for this. And we don't have those kind of guys. Like none of these guys are like brilliant mind. They're mostly like really good athletes and aggressive basketball players. But then you have and then you and like even our I mean the fact that we don't really have that dirty big man we always talk about like when we've got even you know even a Adu is like when you actually back away and look at him at the free throw line, he's pretty spindly. You know what I mean? I think he plays pretty strong, but Brazil, Big Z, like they're just it's not that they couldn't, they're just not that's not who they are. They're not rock fight
Yeah.
basketball players. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
Yeah.
mean, even Brazil's like we got I mean, he's known. He's like, oh, look, how big and bouncy he is, but he's also got a lot of finesse. We needed some guys that didn't have finesse tonight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, you need Kamani Johnson.
Hmm.
The Kamani Johnson, most famous words ever out of Kamani Johnson's mouth. When you're playing, like Texas A&M or Mississippi State, where that the games that he knows he's going to get some minutes. When he says this is nut dropping time. That's the Kamani Johnson line, and
Hmm.
that's the kind of guy you need. And yeah, we
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
have one of those.
and what would have been really nice is if you had like a center. I mean, a guard would have been the ideal, but even a center like Jalen Williams, who is the kind of guy that like was able to most of the time kind of floor general and know what at least the right thing to do against like different kind
Yeah,
of pressures are and stuff.
you can run the offense through him like
I mean, think about the
Jalen.
difference between if you had Jalen Williams going up there and at the high post and getting the ball and kind of like surveying the defense versus Brazil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just not even the same thing. You know what I mean?
It's not the same thing. By the way, Jalen Williams got to be. I mean, I don't know where I should do this sometime. Maybe we'll do this. Uh, and I know I have to. I can't go all the way back because there no I wasn't alive. But um, Jalen Williams is probably in my top 10 favorite Razorbacks of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like liking their game, like if I was like ranking like players games who I love, like I love Jalen Williams' game. It's great.
Yeah. I know. I wish he got more playing time in the pros,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, all right,
I
man.
like watching Oklahoma City, but he doesn't get in there too much.
Yeah. Um, well, we'll be back. We play Wednesday. Again, man, it's not. Maybe, guys, maybe this is what it is. Maybe we get the split, and you're like, man, that sucked, but you'll take it because you're gonna go beat off. But like that, of all the game, my lowest confidence is in beating Auburn at Auburn, man. I'll tell you what, I just don't. I just don't know what we're gonna do with Broom. Just don't know how we're gonna do that. But
Broom is going to. I mean, I'm going to say this because I hope it. comes back in my face, and I'm begging for the comments next week to be like, "Oh, you said that." I think Broom is going to murder Big Z. Like he's just going to his moves are he's just gonna dribble this way, shoulder shake this way, dribble up and under head fake and gentle lay in. Like that
Hey,
dude.
Z, just stay down. Let him do all the things. Don't like yeah. Wait till he puts it up. Wait till he puts it up, and then you can send it back or whatever. But dude, like don't
Well,
just stay in front of
Broom
the
can
rim.
also dude Broom can go get the ball at the free throw line and just go right around Big
Yeah,
Z.
it's a
And
problem. And that, not and so I mean it's not. By the way, it's not
I mean,
like
dude, Broom, what did he end up with? Was it 28 points last year? And we had what I consider to be better big men defenders.
let's what did he like so we as we recorded this and that game's already over. So um, Auburn did in fact beat Alabama, scored 94 points on them, 94-85, high scoring game. But yeah, dude, Broom. The problem is like so Broom finishes with uh I know you guys don't care about this at all. He has 19 points, but he has 14 rebounds and 6 assists.
Yeah.
19 points and 6 assists. As you're a center. Like, what
Well,
is
dude,
that?
I'm telling you, like Auburn's good, and we've been saying that all year. There's no way the Hogs go in there and beat Auburn, with the exception of the one thing, which is
We go
we
bananas.
always talk we always talk about this, and it's just like it's just one of those games
Yeah.
where they can't hit the broadside of a barn and everything goes in for us. I
That's
mean, Big Z hits four threes, Nelly hits four threes, Wagner hits three threes, Knox hits two three. Like that's the only way is we play at a 10 somehow, and they just have one of those nights where they like. But there's nothing. I mean, those guys are good, and it's at their place, and they've got it popping. Like there's no fathomable strategy I can come up with where you beat them other than you pray to the basketball gods and they bestow you with your best. You play your best game. You play the way the Eagles defense played in the Super Bowl, which is like they're just like, hey, we've been good all year, but we're just going to play the best game we've played out of all the 17 games we played or whatever. I don't know what is it with the playoffs. If they played, did they play 18, 19 by the time they get to the Super Bowl? That was the best game that defense has played all year, and they did it at that time. Like we need to play the best game that a game we didn't even know these guys were capable of to beat Auburn.
I'd love to see
But
it.
it's possible. I mean, weirder things happen. You know what I mean? But like, it's not likely.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Don't worry, guys. Beating Auburn at Auburn was isn't on anybody's list of like path to the tournament either. So you just gotta. We knew that this was a bummer stretch. These two games where you're like, ugh, you gotta go to at Texas A&M and at Auburn. Like that sucks. But
Yeah.
then it gets real. Then you just have to. Then you like, you gotta get through that. And then if you lose them both, you lose them both. And then you do have to start winning. You have to start winning every other game after that. That's the way it is. Not literally every other game, but like you gotta go get three out of the next five or whatever against teams that are not bad teams by the way. Some of them ranked, but just maybe you're at home and they're not 1 and 2 seeds in the NCAA
Hmm.
tournament right now. So
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you do look at this stretch, I mean, Alabama, Texas A&M, Auburn.
that's two
Those
one
are
that's two 1 seeds and a 2 seed. I mean that sucks, dude. Like, that's rough.
Well, they moved. Yeah, they moved Texas A&M up to sixth, so that's the number one, number two, and number six teams in the country.
Yeah,
That's pretty tough.
that's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. And
Yeah,
so far, you haven't got. And so far, you were in both of the one. Now we'll see what happens. I don't know what happens on Wednesday, but so far, you were like, well, we were there. Like you had a
yeah.
chance.
I mean, you do like. I mean, I don't think this team has a good tournament run in them, but you do wonder if you could somehow squeak in there with as brutal as the SEC is. It's like, could you get in there and play some of these other leagues teams and actually, even though they're like ranked a three or something like that, would it be like, oh, well, yeah, but we're in the SEC. A three in your league is a freaking,
Yeah.
South Carolina in our league. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but you do wonder.
Yeah. You do. Well, all right, bro.
All
We
right.
should leave it there. Get this thing out. We'll come back and hey, whatever happens at Auburn, we'll talk about
All
it.
right.
All right,
All
man.
right. See you,
See
dude.
it.
Bye.